We're getting started late. One, two, three, four, five. Four,
Welcome, everyone. I want to call this City Council meeting to order, 7:09. Sorry, we got a little bit of a late start here. We're just coming back from a workshop where we discussed their community council and a rezone application. So for our regular meeting, we always start with a pledge of allegiance. So if you'd please stand, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and we will proceed to a roll call. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Robinson. Here. Brown.
Here.
Billy. Here. Lever.
Here.
And Councilmember Mikulash is excused.
All right, thank you so much. Moving along, we have a proclamation honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and proclaiming January 20th, 2025 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And for the proclamation, I'll read that. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made profound and enduring contributions to the social and economic progress of our nation by championing the movement towards racial equality and civil rights for all people, regardless of race, color, creed, or occupation, including efforts to desegregate public and private institutions, advocate for fair labor practices, and promote justice and equality in all aspects of life. And whereas through peaceful protests, nonviolent demonstrations, and inspiring oratory, Dr. King became a catalyst for change in the treatment of Black Americans and all marginalized communities, reminding us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And whereas on November 2nd, 1983, the United States Congress passed legislation declaring Martin Luther King Jr. Day a federal holiday observed annually on the third Monday of January to honor Dr. King's birthday and his enduring legacy. And whereas, oh, it's a mouthful. I should have taken a couple of deep breaths first. And whereas Midvale City recognizes and honors the extraordinary contributions of Dr. King, reaffirming our commitment to the values he championed, including justice, equality, and universal respect for human dignity, and pledges to uphold these principles for all residents in our community. And whereas we commemorate Dr. King's legacy this month, for which would mark his 96th birthday, it is fitting and proper to pay tribute to his tireless advocacy for civil rights, his dream of a more inclusive and equitable society, and his unwavering belief in the power of hope, unity, and nonviolence. Now, therefore, the mayor and city council of Midvale City do hereby proclaim Monday, January 20th, 2025 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and call upon community and faith leaders, civil rights advocates, educators, public officials, and all people in Midvale City and Salt Lake County to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., reflect on his vision for a better America, and commit to fostering equality and justice in our community. And this has been signed by the 3 council members and the mayor. Moving on, we have Unified Police Department report. And to do that, Chief April Morse.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for the time to be here. To highlight the UPD time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about call volume or any of the questions related to the precincts, but I thought it would be very important to take the time to highlight the incredible work that the men and women of UPD do. So as you can tell, there's a lot of people here. Some of them are UPD folks, and I'm proud to have them here. I'd like to call up, and if you guys will come up as I call you, Officer Clayton Farnes, Officer Leo Lopez, Officer Miguel Gomez, Officer Ethan Andrus, Officer Athena Walser, just stand by me, guys. Officer Ryan Smithson and PSD Drogo, Officer Austin Schmidt and PSD Nitro, Officer Barnett and PSD Tonto, PSD is Police Service Dog, Sergeant Heather Lynn Lorkey. So these men and women, on October 15, 2024, a robbery was reported at the Maverick gas station on the Midvale City border with Cottonwood Heights. This was actually occurred in Cottonwood Heights, but it's connected to our area. So of course, our people are going to go and support them. UPD officers hearing the information responded to the area to assist in the investigation. The information available at the time was a suspect armed with a rifle went into the store to commit that robbery, pointing the firearm at the person. He then fled in a green Kia Soul. Midvale officer Leo Lopez located the suspect vehicle and followed it until additional units could arrive for a high-risk stop. Once the traffic stop was initiated, the suspects didn't stop. A pursuit was initiated, which ended in them sustaining a vehicle collision. The suspects crashed, abandoned the vehicle, fleeing on foot. During this time, the vehicle was discovered to have been stolen. Officers quickly established a containment of the area and began a search for the suspects. Now, oftentimes you'll hear about mutual aid. Mutual aid did come to assist, but they're quickly called away once the scene is calmed down and there's no immediate threat. However, one of the beauties of Unified Police Department, which is your agency and all these people, even though most of them aren't assigned to Midvale, they're still your officers. They committed to staying there. They conducted a search regardless of how long it took. Our K-9 unit and our drone unit responded, and with those assets, the suspects were discovered and an AR-15 was recovered from that incident. After the suspects were apprehended, officers learned of a second robbery that occurred earlier in Mill Creek. The same suspects, the person was just afraid to call it in. The suspect had used a rifle during that robbery as well. Due to staffing issues, as you know, during this time, we were on mandatory overtime because we're so short-staffed. The sergeant was the only supervisor on duty. She quickly assumed command of all incidents, and officers quickly covered all necessary assignments without prompting or needing to be asked. Resources from all facets of UPD responded to assist on this highly dangerous and tense situation. As such, they quickly and safely took violent suspects into custody. They should be recognized for their selfless actions and incredible professionalism. That is why I'm giving them a Division Commander Award. Mayor, if you would like to come down and help me hand these out.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So that is what's awesome about UPD. There were no calls for service that were delayed or went unanswered because as these guys were busy, the other precinct areas came in and helped covered, which is why this model works so effectively. So Sergeant Heatherlyn Lorkey. Light. Ethan. Austin. And this little imposter here. This is the new K-9 officer, Officer Odin. Officer Smithson. Officer Athena. And Officer. Thank you. Council, thank you so much for giving me the time to highlight these men and women. If you guys don't have any questions, that's all I have. Yeah, we were lovingly refer to him as Brows. If you look at his eyebrows there, what is he, 16 months? He's 19 months and it took 2 months, 3 months for him to become dope certified. 4 weeks, 4 weeks to become dope certified.
Is he full grown?
No, he needs to go out a little bit more.
A little more meat?
So he'll, with Seth and being shepherd, he's not gonna be truly full grown until he's 2 years old. So he's got a little bit left in him. How about it?
We would love to get a picture with the council and officers and the chief, but we were gonna do it out in the lobby area since there's so many people. If that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, so we'll try to do it up the stairs so that we can kind of get a little bit better photo around that. But before you go, I'll just make it really short though, but I thank you so much for all you do. Every day I receive a log from the chief on all of the things that the officers in UPD are doing every night. And while this is clearly an exceptional situation and the work that you did is as always exceptional. But again, every day we see stuff that shows all of the hard work that you do, and we cannot say enough for what you do, and we're very appreciative of it. So thank you.
Hmm.
Glory. Glory. Yeah, I think they're take it over there afterwards.
Oh. Till after.
Take as much as that. Higher date. Right? That gave my voice for my next novel.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're my line.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, no,
You guys, like, girl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it again. Okay.
You will make the, just come up and he'll just say some stuff and then.
Yes. Thank you. I can make motions now. Bonnie's tired of sharing. Thank you. Yeah, that's what it was. There's been contention there lately. She's like, oh, it's again.
Okay, moving on, we have another proclamation. This one's pretty special as well. Proclamation recognizing Tony Flores for 44 years of dedicated service to Midvale. And here to do the roast is Public Works Director.
You
Blank.
can't roast Tony. Tony does the roasting. So I'm gonna start this story off 6 years ago. I walked into Public Works as the new director. And I'm going down the hall and this is a few hours in. And Tony meets me coming the other way. Go to introduce myself and he beats me to it. My name's Tony Flores. I've been here 38 years. Don't tell me what to do. Don't be sorry. There may have been an expletive as well. And I was okay. And then he left. And then about a week later, we had lunch at Italian Village, the utilities group. And I believe there's only one person in the water department currently that was at that lunch besides you and I, and that's Bud. But he said it again in front of the group. And half the group laughed and half the group was scared to death. Tony, would you turn around? The utility guys gave him that. But Tony is Midvale. Tony grew up on Second Ave.
I used to run second.
Had family, uncles and stuff living on Third Ave. Extremely dedicated, extremely solid. Especially talking to some of the old timers that were out on water leaks in the 80s and 90s. Tony was the first call because they knew he would respond. They knew he would show up. And there were even times when they didn't call him and they would look up and Tony's got a broom sweeping the gutter. He just had radar, they needed help. So with that, I think the mayor's going to read a proclamation and if you would like to add anything, Tony. As tradition for Public Works, first and long time folks, we get a street sign. We sign it. For those of you that would like to sign it front or back, we've got some Sharpies and it'll be in that other room as the retirement party goes on. Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Tony, did you want to say anything before we read the official proclamation? Or does your shirt say it all?
I'd just like to say it's been a wonderful 44 years. From living, in this avenues, meeting all you people and thank all you members for helping making decisions with equipment we need. You know what we needed. and he gave that to the guys out there. Those guys out there, they work their ass off, I'm sorry, but they work their ass off, and they'll do anything for the city. As you showed them, you're there for us, and you guys help pay our wages, and that's why I'm here still, because I got treated good. But the most of all, people I think is the residents, because they're the one that pays our wages. There's the one that out there giving the Midvale City the name and keeping us in a job. Thank you, everybody. Rory, God bless you, mate. She's been a big help lately with my retirement and stuff like that. And can't miss you.
We miss you. You back anytime.
And for all the guys here, thank you guys for coming. You had me, I didn't really know what was gonna go on out here, so it's all this. Got a lot of, all my water guys, dog pound. That's who we are. So Steve, everybody. Thank you guys for being here, my family, man. This has never happened to me, and I hope all you guys would make your 40 years here too.
It's well deserved,
Been a
Tony.
been a good city here to work with, all you guys. It really has. I'll miss all my family. You're my second family. So thanks for putting up with me.
Well, we do have a proclamation, and we are going to take a picture out in the lobby with everyone. Again, I just wanted to give some historical perspective here because Tony started with Midvale City in 1980. And in 1980, the population of Midvale was 10,146 people. The average household income was $28,000 that year. And the average home price in Midvale was $45,000. So things have changed a little bit. One thing I learned today also in 1980, our very own Matt Dahl was born. So Tony has been working at Midvale City the entire time that Matt Dahl has been alive. So proclamation, getting serious now, because we do thank you for your 44 years. That's a number, a lot of us can only dream of, working at a place for that many, those number of years, and being as happy as you seem to be in the role. So we thank you for that. Recognition of Tony Flores for 44 years of dedicated service to Midvale City. Whereas Tony Flores has devoted 44 years of exceptional service to Midvale City, primarily in the water department, where his expertise and dedication have ensured access to clean and reliable water for all residents. And whereas Tony Flores began his career with Midvale City in 1980, embarking on a journey of public service that has spanned over 4 decades, during which he has witnessed and helped shape the city's growth and transformation. And whereas throughout his tenure, Tony Flores has played an instrumental role in maintaining and improving the city's water infrastructure, ensuring sustainable water management, and contributing to the health and well-being of the community. And whereas Tony Flores's leadership, technical expertise, and unwavering commitment to excellence have left an enduring legacy in the water department and across the city. And whereas Tony Flores has been a mentor and inspiration to colleagues and community members, exemplifying the values of hard work, integrity, and dedication to public service. And whereas the city council and mayor wishes to honor Tony Flores for his remarkable contributions and to express our deepest gratitudes for his 44 years of service with Midvale City. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Midvale City do hereby proclaim recognition of Tony Flores's extraordinary achievements and invaluable contributions to the Midvale City and the community at large. Be it further resolved, I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Be it further resolved that the City Council commends Tony Flores for his enduring legacy of service and extends best wishes for his future endeavors, knowing that his impact will continue to be felt for generations to come. Thank you, Tony. And anyone who is here from Public Works, if you want to join us for a picture in the lobby.
Yes.
Yes, I probably was. On my phone, one.
You gotta go take a picture.
Okay.
That's what I just said.
What are they doing? Up and down and up and down.
Okay, I promise we will not be going out in the lobby anymore tonight. Well, okay. I think we can move on to the next agenda item, which is public comments. Any person wishing to comment on any item not otherwise scheduled for a public hearing on the agenda may address the city council at this point. Are there any public comments? You have one? No, okay. Seeing none. We'll move on to, this is something I just want to explain for a second. Traditionally, council reports have come before the mayor's report, and I felt that it's important that you, the legislative body of Midvale City, this is your meeting, so the council reports are first again. So up first, we have Councilmember Bonnie Billings.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank again UPD and their efforts to keep our community safe. It doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you so much. And I also, Tony's not here anymore, but I did also want to thank him personally and wish him well in retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you. And Councilmember Paul Glover.
I'd like to also recognize Tony. I'm not there to be able to be in that picture, but appreciate all the work that he has done for Midvale City and appreciate his efforts. Like to recognize that it is warmer here in California than I think it is there in Utah today. So, but it is very, very windy. I can see how the fires are spreading. There's a lot of wind, and I'm in Temecula, which is an hour south of LA. So, but nice to be in California and be with my family, but that's about all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Glover. Councilmember Heidi Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I also just wanted to extend my gratitude to UPD. Thanks for always going above and beyond as well. To Mr. Flores, I wish him the best retirements ever. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I'd like to just echo what everyone's been saying about Tony Flores. Seems like a great guy. It reminds me that we don't connect with that building as much as we should. It makes me sad. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if there even is a solution, but it just seems like there's a lot of great employees over there that I don't know. And please tell them I think they're great, whether they, they're like, sure, he's never come over here, but they seem like great people. So I appreciate their work and their constant diligence for us. And same with UPD. I asked the chief to kind of look at the area by the school. It's been something that my area is really worried about, and within days there's people there and they're working on it, and I couldn't be happier with that level of response. And I think as long as we keep doing that from both those entities, we're doing the base that we need to do. So I appreciate both those groups, and I think they're operating at just a A+ level right now. And, I really like to see that. And I noticed, well, on my third point, that McDonald's sign looks like punched or something again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we receive a note from the business owner. And it's not like, unless we're going to post a cop sign next to that sign, it's not like we can do much. But I don't know if that's something. The reason why I'm bringing this up is the legislative sessions right now. I'm guessing a lot of it's tied to the homeless shelter that's right across the freeway. I don't know if we can parlay that into asking for more resources or whatever, because it is the cost of doing business. I don't necessarily feel bad for them to that extent, but it isn't fair for the rest of the city because it does look bad. It looks pretty trashy, and we don't want to necessarily commit resources for just a sign. But if we can get more resources, we should. Like, to me, it's a good example that just continually happens, and it does not look good. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you. And Councilmember Denise Mikuláš, she is not online or with us tonight. Okay, so we'll skip over her and she'll be back for our next meeting. For my report, since this is our first actual formal council meeting since the mayoral appointment, I just wanted to give you guys an update what I've been doing in some of the external committees that mayors get put on. The first is the Salt Lake County Council of Governments. We met last week. I was elected secretary of the group, and willingly, I will say. I wasn't voluntold. But more importantly, they put me on the Zoo, Arts, and Parks Committee, also known as ZAP. So I think that is I volunteered for that one because that is one that's going to be important to us moving forward. So we will have representation on that for at least the next year, hopefully longer. The next one, the COG put me on their Active Transportation Committee as well, which I'm pretty excited about, working through some of those transportation issues that, our cities are small enough. It's not really wise for Midvale to have a transportation plan and West Jordan and Murray and Sandy not to have one. So those types of collaborations, I think, are good for Midvale and good for the county. For UPD, I attended my first board meeting last week and I was put on the Compensation and Benefits Committee. UFA, I met first board meeting today at 7:30 a.m. And if you want to see a cranky Dustin, 6 a.m. alarm going off is pretty unfamiliar territory for me. So I'll get used to that, I'm sure. 2 weeks ago, I attended my first Community Renewable Energy Committee, and I just wanted to give you guys a very high level update there. We had discussed when we passed that ordinance that we were okay up to $4, I think it was, a $4 increase in energy bills for entry into the program. They've actually gotten that number down considerably to less than $3.50. I can't remember the exact number because it is subject to change. We'll know more at the end of next month, February. But also of importance, probably to you, Councilmember Glover, because I remember you mentioning this during the discussion. The period of opt-out has been recommended to be extended from 3 months to 6 months. Or I should say 6 billing cycles, could be more than a month. So those two things I think were really good news to come out of that. Again, those are by no means final numbers, but they are the numbers that the board is recommending. And we'll know more, like I said, at the end of February. I think that is all. Oh, I did forget to mention, Tony, yes, he's gone now. But yeah, we also, I don't think we can say enough about him. I did want to mention though, as a Pennsylvania person in 1980, when he started, the Steelers won the Super Bowl and the Phillies won the World Series. So I'm just saying, not that I like either of those teams, surprisingly, but anyway, that's all I have for tonight. City Manager Matt Dahl.
Had two things, but I wanted to respond to something that Councilmember Brown had said. We, as you may recall, with the last year's mitigation funding that we received from the state, we were able to put aside some funding to help businesses along within a half mile of the shelter and on the 7200 South corridor to either put in new security features. We can use some of the grant money for our own grant in order to help them with security features or to repair damage that is caused by transients or those experiencing homelessness. And that's something that we may be able to use in the immediate. However, you had made mention that we should try, and we do want to try to get more resources. But at this point, what we're hearing is that, so right now, the money for the mitigation fund comes from allocation from the state and from funds from all of the communities in the state that don't have a homeless shelter. But that money is relatively static, and with this year seeing a lot of like the sales tax and things leveling off, the amount of money going in is probably not going to be much more, we anticipate. However, there are new shelters coming online, and the way those funds are distributed are based off of how many night visits each shelter sees, and as new shelters come on, that dilutes the pool. And we don't know to what extent, but at this point, I mean, we're working on trying to get everything we can, but we are concerned this year that we'll be diluted, and the amount of money that we're receiving from the mitigation funds will likely decrease in the next year. I see your face and feel the same. And we're going to try to do what we can with regards to that, but that is something that is particularly concerning to us as we go into the legislative session. One of the mantras that we've been hearing is the state doesn't have any money. And our retort is, neither do we. So, since you brought it up and since it's a big concern for me, I just wanted to let you know that that's where that.
No, I appreciate it. And I guess we still should just hound on it, because what else can we do? Right. And it's not fair to the residents. And I just think, especially Midvale, should be kept in mind when election season comes.
Agreed. Okay. Second thing I want to cover is over the last several years, we have not increased the Harvest Days committee's budget for the Harvest Days event. And what we've seen this year is that there's been a significant increase in the costs for some of the static things that we do every year. Audiovisual equipment has had a steep increase, but we've also seen a large increase in the what entertainment is charging, the bands and things that we're seeing, that we are normally in our price range have increased what they're asking in order to perform at Harvest Days. One of the goals at the beginning of the Harvest Days committee, as they were meeting to look at the 2025 Harvest Days, is they wanted to make sure that there were bands that were included that were interactive. The intent that people would, as they're singing and dancing on the stage, that people would be interested in singing and dancing in the audience and that kind of thing. And so the group had identified a band that they wanted as the opener. So this isn't even the closing band. However, what they found is that what we need is some additional funding in order to be able to afford that position. So the formal way that we do that kind of increase is through a budget amendment. We would be talking about one-time money and not ongoing money. And so here's what I did. I got a text as I was doing this, then I got nervous that I was like, what did I say wrong? I thought someone was texting me to tell me what I did wrong, and I looked at it and now I lost train of thought there, but sorry. So all the stuff I said was true, but where I'm, so the request is that the Harvest Days would like to request an additional $5,000 in order to have sufficient funding for the entertainment that they would like to bring on this year. If you were to be okay with it, I'm just sort of looking for head nods at this point. If you're okay with us pursuing it, we'll come back with a budget amendment. But if it is approved, then they would put that towards entertainment. And if they don't, then clearly they would make some other, if you're not interested in that, they would make some other choices. But I'm just curious if you have any questions or if everyone feels comfortable with us coming back with a budget amendment to for this entertainment.
I mean, I'll sing for 2,500. Okay.
So I think we should definitely raise the budget.
That's the floor.
My head.
I thought we would ask you to pay us to let you sing.
More likely.
Do you have, and Councilmember Robinson is one of the members of that committee as a representative of the council. Do you have anything you want to add to that discussion?
I would just say that the event planner that does help us with Harvest Days has said that this is kind of an ongoing trend that she's seeing across the board as far as entertainment goes and additional needs that we have for Harvest Days. So this isn't a frivolous expense. This is something that I definitely see value in for the Harvest Days, and to continue to grow and improve it. I think this is something that we do need to examine.
Okay. Issues? Good?
Good.
Good?
No issues, yes. The way you asked that
I
was.
know,
Sorry.
I did the same thing, remind me.
Well, if I ask it all the ways, no matter what you answer, I get what I want.
I had to really think about it.
So good moving forward with that request, $5,000 additional.
Yeah.
Paul?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Very good. Then I will let them know and we will proceed in that manner. For my final item this evening, I was going to have Mariah come up and talk about an issue that we've been dealing with today. And what I should say is that Mariah and her staff have spent a lot of time working on today, Laura as well. And she'll describe it. It's a rough situation, but our staff has done the best that they can in order to address it.
Yeah,
I
so we,
appreciate all your work.
yeah, we had a really weird thing. Express Bill Pay is who processes our payments, a lot of our auto payments for utility billing. And they had a failure to run auto pays that were set to run on a due date of January 15th. And so that happened. We didn't realize that happened. And then on January 16th, we billed for the coming cycle or the past cycle. The dates get really confusing. I'm going to avoid those. So when that happened, people got bills that said that they hadn't paid, and they're on auto pays. That normally just always happens. A lot of them assumed that their bill had just doubled all of a sudden. If they would have clicked through and done a little investigation, they would have just seen that they had an unpaid bill. All of those people also got late fees on their account because of that, because our system automatically does that if you haven't paid a bill that is due. So it affected 1,283 accounts. I have emailed every single one of those people explaining the situation. And we answered. Josh told me it was only 140 phone calls, but I could tell you it was at least 500. And we were answering the phones all day, all four of us, to explain the situation. No one was upset once it was explained. And then what's happened is Express Bill Pay tried to do the auto pays straight away, but then they pulled both sets of bills from people's accounts right now, which we rolled that back as quick as possible and then double checked their work before they did
correctly pull people's auto pays for the January bills today. And then we're working to, instead of doing a manual adjustment to remove late fees from 1,300 accounts, working to create a file to do that. So really people, by the time they pay their February bill on February 15th, their auto pay runs for that, everything should be settled. And then obviously we'll work on a case by case basis if this made somebody overdraw their account or something like that. But we believe it shouldn't actually have hit anyone's account. If it hit a credit card, it was voided, and we caught it quick enough that we don't think it hit e-checks and things like that. I don't think any of us talked to a customer that was upset once they understood the situation. Everyone was like, how many times have you said that spiel today? And I was like, enough that it sounds memorized. It really wasn't an error on the city's part. It was express bill pay. They have had some, I think, major turnover lately. They got bought out. And we're realizing we just need to stay a little bit more on top of them, but it is really a process they run, and it was not on us to ensure that that's happening. Though we may check on them for a while. So that's what happens if you get any questions about it. I'm happy to answer them. You can send them my way, or you can try and explain billing dates and service cycles if you want to do that.
Mariah,
Yeah.
thank you and your staff for handling those calls today. When
Yeah.
I got here to City Hall this morning, Matt's face was white as a ghost. And so I knew something was wrong right away. And it sounds like you guys handled it expertly. So thank you.
By 6 o'clock, my staff was like, see ya. And I was like, yep, fair, bye. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you so much. Moving on, we have a public hearing tonight, and that will be to consider a rezone request to change the zoning from single-family residential 1 SF1 to regional commercial RC of approximately 0.408 acres located at 7444 South Union Park and 1116 East Chapel Hill Drive.
Thanks, Mayor Gettle. I will make a quick correction. It didn't make it on the agenda, but it is in the staff report and motion. It's actually 0.2665 acres. So the motion is correct. I just wanted to get that correction out of the way first. So this is a rezone from SF1 to regional commercial, as the motion states. Let's see here. It is on. There it goes. So this is the proposed rezone area, and it's currently across 2 parcels. That being said, this is the proposed site plan for the project that would happen if this were to be rezoned and approved. So currently the existing commercial building was developed under the neighborhood commercial 2 standards that the single family residential 1 zone currently has, which limits parking and square footage of buildings. This proposal would be putting about 7 new parking stalls in the area. And obviously this would be compliant to regional commercial zone if it was rezoned. And if you look here, so there is, and this is where the 0.4 acres came from, is between the 2 properties. And that correction was given to me by the applicant for the actual rezoned area. So there would be a boundary line adjustment after the rezone. If you look here, I've got the pointer looking. That's what the little carved out area, which would allow for the stalls. And that would take place. And then obviously this would go through site plan process before anything is constructed. As far as public comments, there was one at Planning Commission, just, making sure where the rezone was happening, the boundaries of it. No residential homes are affected by this. It's just the commercial property. But
And the
besides
commercial
that,
building is gonna remain, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's
No
just adding part.
Correct. Yeah, that would be the only change. Aside from that, the planning commission recommended approval of this. But if you have any other questions for me, go for it.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any questions from the council?
Sorry, maybe you mentioned, was there anybody from the community that
There was one planning commission, but they just wanted to make sure that no residential properties were affected, which it's not. It's just the commercial building and the addition of the property there.
So we don't have the normal.
No, no.
The situation. Okay,
Correct. Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so I would entertain a motion to open this proceeding to public comment.
Mayor, I move we open to public comment.
Second,
Motion and a second. All those in favor of opening for public comment, say aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are open to public comment.
And the applicant is here if you have questions for him.
So let's do public comment first. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a public comment about this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to close public comment?
Mayor, I motion we close public comment.
second,
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, public comment is closed. The applicant is here. Any questions, clarifying questions for the applicant, or would the applicant like to say anything? Not to put you on the spot.
You just need to get like awkward people getting mad at him or something.
My name is Matt McWhorter, and Jonathan did a pretty good job of explaining it. It was originally developed as NC2, which I think limits 8 parking spaces, which is kind of the purpose of this rezoning, to add 7 more. The use of the building is going to change. That's about it.
It's very rare we get someone coming to us to ask for more parking. So I can probably imagine how this vote's gonna go.
What question? What's the use gonna be?
It's going to be a Sherwin-Williams paint store.
Okay, thank you.
Any other clarifying questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion up on the board.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 2025-001, authorizing a zone map amendment for approximately 0.2665 acres located at 7444 South Union Park Avenue and 1116 East Chapel Hill Drive from single-family residential 1 SF1 to regional commercial RC, consistent with the findings included in the staff report.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Billings,
yes.
Glover,
Aye.
Robinson. Aye. And Brown.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have a number of minutes to consider from our December 3rd, December 10th. Wait,
11th was legislative breakfast.
oh, okay. So that is, I was like, wait, we didn't meet 2 days in a row. Consider minutes of December 3rd, 10th, 11th, 2024, and January 7th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor? Roll
Roll call.
call.
Councilmember Glover,
Aye.
Robinson. Aye. Brown
Yes.
and Billings.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on, several action items tonight, first of which consider resolution number 2025 R03, amending the veto authority in the Harvest Days Festival Committee bylaws. Aaron.
Evening, council, mayor. I'm Erin Summers, the project and policy manager, and I am here once again to talk to you about Harvest Days. This is a hard button today.
I swear it's my head.
Just duck, mayor. So I'm just rapidly clicking them too hard. Hey,
There we
all right. I'm gonna run through this pretty quick because I have given you this spiel 6 or 7 times at this point. Harvest Days is our beloved Midvale festival each year. And in the past, City Council established the Harvest Days Festival Committee. through the bylaws to support city planning and executing the festival to make it special and increase the community's participation in running the event. The committee is made up of 5 members and 2 alternate members. And in addition, we have the city manager, any city staff who is assigned to that, and then up to 2 city council members, which represented Council Member Robinson is our current representative on the committee. And we have our event planner, which is currently Hoops Events. In December, this committee had asked, in October, this committee had asked me to look into options to change the veto authority within the bylaws. As it currently exists, only the city manager has the authority to veto any and all decisions made by the committee. And it's if those decisions were deemed to be against policy or not in the best interest of the city or community. And that was the complete bylaws. On October 15th, the council had asked me to look for a way to formalize a veto appeals process for the council to look into. And in the December 3rd meeting, the city council asked staff to finalize language in the Harvest Days Festival Committee bylaws to outline this process where the city manager will inform all city council members of any veto that occurs, what decision happened, the context behind the decision, and why he vetoed. And this is the finalized language that came out of that formalizes that process. This is section 9, which is the veto authority section within the bylaws. Questions, concerns, complaints?
Thank you, Aaron. Any questions from the council? Okay, there is a motion on the board. I do just want to say for those who are here who haven't heard this before, we are in no way concerned about Matt exercising his veto authority. It's just something that we identified as an issue. You know, as much as we want Matt to be here forever, we might have a new city manager at some point, decades from now, who, you know, we don't necessarily know how that person's going to run things. So we thought this was important at the time. But motion's up on the board.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2025 R03, amending the veto authority and the Harvest Days Festival Committee bylaws.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Robinson. Aye. Brown,
Yes.
Billings.
Yes.
And Glover.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you, council. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. Second action item, consider resolution number 2025 R04, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Wasatch Front Regional Council for the Porter Rockwell Trail Plan. Jonathan.
Thanks, Mayor. So this came before you guys for a letter of concurrence last May, I believe, which allowed us to put an RFP out to get a consultant to come do this plan for us. So this is coming before you guys. The clicker's not working, Josh. I just have a lovely picture of where the trail could potentially run through the city next to the blue tracks line. There it goes. So this agreement is obviously with Wasatch Front Regional Council. And then our chosen consultant, which is Alta Planning and Design, to develop a potential outcome of where we could potentially construct the Porter Rockwell Trail through our city from Sandy to Murray. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Jonathan? Nope. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
The motion is on the board.
I move that we approve resolution number 2025 R-04, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Wasatch Front Regional Council, WFRC, for the Porter Rockwell Trail Plan. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Brown.
I have a quick question. I was trying to see it. This starts in Draper, right? This is Porter Rockwell Trail, I think. And will this, is everyone on board? Is like Murray and everyone on board? I was trying to read to see if I can find it. Maybe I missed it. I think it's a great idea, you know.
Yeah, so it's currently starts in Draper, and it ends approximately about here in Sandy. There's nothing north of us for the trail.
So it'll end in Midvale at the moment.
Yeah, for at the moment, yeah. But the goal is to eventually get it, correct me if I'm wrong, Vendaline, but clear to Salt Lake City, right? There's Wasatch Front Regional Council has a trail plan, active transportation plan. And this is on there to become a regional trail network, hopefully through the entire valley. So
On the regional plan, it's the trail really almost goes to the entire county, starting in Draper into downtown Salt Lake. And in Draper, it actually also connects to Utah County.
Okay, sorry, I just, we jumped to that and I wanted to ask, so I appreciate it. Yes? If you answered it wrong, I would have said no, so good thing you answered it right.
Okay, Councilmember Billings,
Yes.
Glover,
Aye.
and Robinson. Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously as well. Moving on, a few discussion items tonight, the first of which being, oh, I already crossed that one off. Yeah, sorry about that. Another action item, consider resolution number 2025 R05 approving the purchase agreement of 8170 and 8172 South Main Street, Midvale between Midvale City and ISSB LLC. Cody, you would have killed me if I would have skipped that one forever. He's been working hard on this.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. So what I'm bringing you tonight is the purchase agreement for the purchase of Public Works expansion property is what the intent is. So a little bit of background. We have Public Works right on there just off of Main Street near Ivy, and they are very much nearing their capacity to provide public works services from this location. They're needing to expand. The city is continuing to grow, adding more residences, adding more businesses, a larger daytime population, and they're needing to expand their capacity as well. And so the potential expansion location for Public Works Department, an ideal location is right above it, just to the north. Those two parcels, the large one, and then that little sliver, that's a canal, but it's under the same ownership of that parcel to the north. And we have discussed it, staff and council have discussed it a couple of times, and staff has talked to the owners, ISSB LLC, and their attorney as well, and we've reached an accord on acceptable terms for the purchase agreement. And those terms are as follows. The purchase price would be about $1.8 million for the 1.55 acres of land. That's about $27 per square foot. We worked with the property owner who had us do our own homework, look at comparables. They looked up their own comparables, and that was maybe a little bit above the mean, but definitely within what was reasonable. And they're looking to sell this property to us and then use it as an investment elsewhere. And we have a 60-day evaluation period if adopted tonight, and we would acquire the property with special warranty deeds. And so that's kind of the broad terms of it, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Oh, one other thing is this is coming from a budget for Public Works expansion. There's about $19 million set aside for the expansion of Public Works. And so this 1.8 million would come from that budget and from the plans for expanding Public Works. So if there's any other questions.
Thank you, Cody. Any questions from the council?
I think it's great.
I've never seen Glenn so happy.
I'm smiling.
One question I have, so just, I walk past this facility a lot. There's a lot of junk left by the previous owner. Who's going to be responsible for cleaning all of that? There's a lot of barricades and stuff like that, random like junk metal as well.
Yeah, so we are purchasing the property as is. So we do have a 60-day due diligence period, but once the effective date starts right now, they wouldn't be able to bring any more junk there. We could work with them on taking anything out that they wanted. But at that point, we would be purchasing the property as is. The 60-day due diligence period includes environmental assessments, looking at what's there, if we have concerns, and if before the 60 days, our concerns are such that it's not a suitable location for the public works expansion, then we can pull out and get our earnest money back minus $500.
So
So basically, it would be our
the
responsibility.
long answer, we have to remove all of the barricades and then do what with all of that stuff?
I think that was actually something that was negotiated. So in exchange for them being able to continue to bring things on the property minus hazardous materials. So that is one thing that they've said they'll not do during this period. They are required to remove all their personal property from the property itself. So the barricades and things like that will need to go by the closing date. But fixtures, so things physically attached to the building that would be destructive to the building if removed, are required to remain.
Okay, but the structure itself, this project is a complete demolish and.
From what I
rebuild.
understand, yeah.
Okay.
You can store salt in it until you tear it down.
They fixed the
He
salt
agrees.
thing. He's not paying attention. Any more questions for Cody?
That was a good joke.
Okay. Motion. Is there, do you have a motion? Yes, I do. There we go. Motion is on the board.
Mayor, I move that we pass resolution number 2025 R5 approving purchase agreement of 8170 and 8172 South Main Street, Midvale, between Midvale City and ISSB LLC.
Second?
Motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Billings,
Yes.
Glover,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
and Brown.
Yes,
Okay,
Glenn,
that,
you heard that in the motion that they want to store salt in there,
Yeah.
right?
you're okay with that?
he wasn't paying attention when we said that.
But you're okay with that. They voted on it, but you're okay with the salt being stored.
Did we fix the salt?
We designated that building like an official, what's the word? Like a monument, historical monument, so you can't touch it.
Okay, now we will actually move on to the discussion items this time, not a fake like the last time. First one is to discuss fleet purchase and salvage. Levi. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Levi McNeil. I'm in the Fleet Facilities Department. I'm here to discuss the vehicle purchase and surplus plan. I don't know how to work this. Okay. Okay, the fleet budget has already been approved through the budget process, but per city policy, these items still need to be brought to the council due to the dollar amounts. And I'm gonna read those just in case someone's not aware of them. For approvals, all expenditures over $50,000 must be approved by the city manager. All expenditures over $100,000 must be approved by the city council. For the surplus side, whenever the surplus property is real property or personal property with a reasonable estimated value of more than $3,000, the city council must approve of its disposal. Okay, for the purchases, these are the vehicles we're looking to purchase this year. We have a Vector for the sewer department, handful of F-150s, half which are going to engineer, the other half at Public Works. We have an Escape for CED, and then two F-450s, which we'll order as cabin chassis and then take them to an equipment upfitter to get 9-foot dump beds installed on them. This is just compiling the cost per division, so you can see the cost per division, and this cost has already been collected through the internal fleet service fund. Okay, and these are the vehicles that are being replaced. And these are estimated salvage values. I pulled these numbers from Kelly Blue Book, I want to say October 24, so they should be roughly close. Other than the Vector, I got that number from a local Vector dealer. There's just no book, there's no book on Vectors. And that's the plan. Any questions?
How do we sell them? Do you just like list them on KSL?
No,
or-
it got approved a while ago to do either public surplus or gov deals.
I still live here on public surplus because we tend to get a little better value for the vehicles.
I've just one time sold a vehicle on KSL and it was like the worst experience of my life. And it would, that many would take, there would be like a full-time job for someone for like a month. So there's not a lot of work on your guys' part, like you.
We just upload pictures, descriptions, and we set the date for how long we want the auction to run. And then public surplus gets the check, and then every quarter, every month, they cut Midvale their portion, because they do take 10%
Yeah, that's fine.
added.
I think that's worth it. Cause like I said, I tried to do one sale and it was literally a nightmare. And I don't want you guys worrying, trying to deal with that many. So I noticed like the Storm place, whatever on 78 seems to do that. That I'm like, man, that seems like a lot of work. So I'm glad that I'd rather have the 10% cut and
Yeah,
you
I
guys
believe-
just do.
I believe they only sell a few. I think they sell theirs yearly, and it's only a couple. So probably not terrible for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. If it's like one
we're
a
doing
year.
quite a
or
bit
something.
more depending on the year.
Didn't we buy a Vector recently?
That was a hydro excavator for the water department,
Okay,
for water repairs and whatnot.
gotcha.
And we don't generally want the water and the sewer together, right?
Correct. Mhm.
Just try not to do that.
It's-
Any other questions for Levi?
All right,
Thank
I
you
knew
for
the answer to that.
I did.
It was
thank
for
you.
everyone else.
Bonnie asked me to ask that. That's why I asked that.
Uh-huh. I had to whisper it.
Thank you, Levi.
All right, just one thing. If not, staff is recommending to approve the vehicle surplus and purchase list as presented on the consent agenda at the next scheduled council meeting. That's okay.
I always look to Garrett for this, because of the dollar. Is that okay to put on the consent agenda?
Just has to be approved by the city council.
I'm fine with the consent agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Next discussion item, discuss entering in an interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County for traffic signal maintenance. Glenn.
I just want to add that, you have not probably seen that presentation, at least consistency. Last year, Levi was assigned a project to go through and revisit, our policies and procedures on purchasing and surplusing. And this is one of the steps that he found that we were missing. So just as a heads up, if you're not familiar with it, you will be moving forward.
Yeah, anytime, he seems like he loves presenting. He should come in all the time and present.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here to talk about the traffic signal maintenance interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County. The city has historically contracted with the county for this maintenance through an interlocal agreement. The most recent agreement expired December 31st. Due to it falling off of my radar and then some of our meetings getting hijacked, this is the first time we could bring it to the city. But the city does desire to enter into another 6-year contract with the county. Midvale is responsible for 17.75 traffic signals. The decimal is that some of those are shared with other cities, split with Cottonwood Heights. There's 3 or 4 of them. Also with Sandy. There's even one that's Midvale, Cottonwood Heights, and Sandy. So they also contract with the county. It just makes a lot of sense to have it all in one basket. Preventative maintenance, the cost is $15.96 per signal, which includes a thorough electrical inspection, cleaning, changing of filters and electrical cabinets, inspection of all infrastructure related to the signals, the masts, the lights, the buttons, the radar feedback, et cetera, et cetera. And it also includes the county to coordinate with UDOT on timing plans and verifying timing is accurate because the whole system works together. Emergency repairs and additional maintenance and blue staking, those are charged at actual hourly and material rates. And the typical cost for our city has been about $20,000 annually. So the total contract's about $50,000 a year. The contract has been reviewed by legal and approved by legal. And so we're just looking to move forward with this agreement. Are there any questions or discussion on that item? And I would also request that it go on the consent agenda for next meeting.
Council okay with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glenn. All right, the last discussion item of the evening, one that impacts some of us more than others this year. Discuss the 2025 municipal election. Rory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Wait, are there any coins?
No coins. I have done away with coins. I don't even know where the one is that Matt gave me. It's missing somewhere.
Don't
So-
tell me.
I have mine.
No more coins. Okay, so as you know, 2025 municipal election is coming up. We're all so excited. The last 2 years, we have participated in the alternate voting method pilot project, which was the ranked choice voting, RCV. And then again, we need to choose whether we're going to be able to, or we want to use the ranked choice voting or not. So the ranked, did you do that or did I do that? Okay, never mind. Okay, I put it back in ranked choice voting. Voting did replace the traditional election. You all know this, and I was going to help Denise to know this, but Denise isn't here, so you get to hear it again. So you know that the traditional election format did include a primary election followed by a general election. The ranked choice voting took away the primary election. We apparently need to send a notice to the county by February 1st, indicating what the dates will be for the candidates to declare. Which is interesting, which is probably just someone missed this in the legislature as to the date mix-up, because we do not have to actually let them know if we're going to choose ranked choice voting until May 1st. However, now we need to let them know by February 1st. We're having an election, what seats are available, and what are the candidate declaration dates. So, as you know, traditional voting, we have a primary. So it is June 2nd through the 6th is when the candidates would declare. For ranked choice voting, there is no primary. So it would be August 12th through the 19th would be the dates. If your council wants to, like I said, participate in ranked choice voting, we need to pass a resolution by May 1st and send it to the Lieutenant Governor's office. So the seats up for the election in 2025 are the mayor seat and council districts 4 and 5. The traditional municipal election, I'm going to go through this quick. You know how this works. With having the dual election structure, it could be higher costs. With the ranked choice voting, we don't have a primary, but there could be there is additional costs with ranked choice voting, and it just depends on how many entities are going to be using ranked choice voting. I know for sure that Salt Lake City has said they're going to. That's the only city I'm aware of so far. Last election, with just one participating, it was like additional $36,000. For two, it dropped to like $18,000. So we did wait, that must be on a timer. We did have several last time. I think it cost us $26,000. Those were districts. We do have a at-large seat this year, so that's going to make a difference. I'm going to go through that. So these are the considerations. Approximately last election, the cost was about $26,000 ranked choice voting. And this year we have the one at-large seat, which is the mayor seat, 2 district seats. On the 21st of February, we have a meeting scheduled with the county, all the recorders do, to get the information more likely towards the cost, what the cost will be. Obviously, we don't have that yet. So this is me saying, whatever you'd like to do, we're happy to do it. If you want to pass a resolution the next meeting, we are happy to do that, to go to ranked choice voting or stay with traditional. It's up to the council. Do you have any questions? At least it will stay on this slide. So
When's our next meeting?
February.
So don't we have to do it today?
Well, I would just tell them that we are anticipating
Got it.
ranked choice voting. So it is, it's a little backwards. I have a question into the county about that, but I didn't hear back.
One thing that's interesting is Senator Weiler has put in a bill to extend ranked choice voting, which I thought the opposite was going to happen, to be honest with you.
Oh, great.
But there is a competing
Yeah.
bill that
There is a competing bill, you know.
as there often are.
For me personally, especially with the mayoral race, I like it because then you would get to a 50% vote where, you know, I've seen one race in Midvale for mayor where the primary had I think the highest was like 38% or something, right?
Mhm.
Which is a terrible way to come to the conclusion of a race, because at that point, like third place at 33%, right? Well, maybe more people wanted that long-term, right, or whatever. So
Right.
when there's the mayoral race, my opinion is we should do ranked choice voting. I don't know what the rest of the council thinks, but I'm for it.
I agree with you on that. I also think by eliminating the primaries, that you're actually gonna get some more candidates in there. And I like that it's kind of driven more to get out there and talk to the people, and so I'm in favor as well.
Me too. I am a fan of ranked choice voting.
Great.
And I don't get to vote, but I also am a fan of ranked choice voting. I do have,
Should we ask Glover? Sorry. I already know what he's gonna say, but we should ask.
Well, I'm getting more used to it than I originally was, so I'm okay with it. I personally like the other because I personally think that the candidates are out there longer and they actually have more time to talk to the citizens than they do with ranked choice. But I'm okay. I'm not as worried about it as much as I was. I think people are starting to learn how to use it, but I still think a lot of the older people have a hard time with it.
Rory, I just have one question.
Sure.
In 2021, we did ranked choice voting with the mayor and District 4 and
Correct.
District 5. So do we have like the cost for that, or was it a different
They
formula at
changed
that
the
point?
formula this last year, whereas before they didn't know how much it was going to cost to do the ranked choice voting in 21. In 23, it changed. Then they had a table as to how many entities were going to participate, and then it was based on that. Before that, I don't recall exactly what the amount was, but I know they did change it after 21.
And I don't think this is going to happen, but remind me if there's just two candidates for each one,
It gets canceled.
we don't pay the ranked choice voting cost, right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm not positive on that, if we might have to pay a portion of it or not. But I can check and find out for sure.
Because I think the 2021,
county.
the seats didn't have enough for it, and I think the mayor only had 3, right? Or did he even rank choice?
Yeah, mayoral race was 3, so it went to like a ranked choice vote.
He won without it.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
yours was
yes.
2, right?
No,
Great,
mine,
you know.
I just won.
No, I mean, it was just you and Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
My
There
memory
wasn't 2 rounds of voting.
Yeah.
for the cost is that it just gets split between the entities, whether or not it's actually needed, because everyone is paying for a share of the licensing for the software.
For the ranked choice
for the
licensing.
county.
But we'll know a long time before is my point. Like, cause if.
The
Um,
risk we've always taken is that if there are only 2 candidates in each race, then we paid whatever for ranked choice voting and didn't really need to pay any extra premium for that. But
Right.
if enough cities join, then the cost actually goes down. So it's just a risk of like, if it's just us in Salt Lake City, we will actually pay more to have ranked choice voting than traditional voting.
I'd be really surprised if it was only 2.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
That was more of a thought, you know.
Yes.
Especially since 2 of the seats were just done through emergency measures. We had a lot of interest in them, so I could see similar turnout.
And I think that they did change that when they changed the formula. They also put something like that in there. I just wasn't positive. Okay, are you good then to bring back a resolution? And we will not put it on consent because Denise is not here. So you'll probably get to hear me again. Yay. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rory. Okay. We do not have a closed session tonight, so I'll wait for Councilmember Glover to unmute himself.
Unmuted.
Would you like to do
I-
your
Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you, and a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.